What's up, everybody? We're back. It's the Players of the Realm. Hope you guys didn't miss us too much. And we are here on this wonderful Friday evening. Hopefully, y'all avoided the smog if you're over here on the East Coast. Some of us had it look like apocalypse now, outside of our windows. Some of us just some light smoke and everything else. But we're here, we're indoors, and everything else. So. Well, we've got an exciting one coming up for you guys. Maybe this time we'll actually fight something. Last time we got into almost zero combat, other than players arguing, I think, a little bit. But that'll come up later, right? So I think just to start us all off, why don't we go into our classic little question of the day? The first question, the main question we're going to ask here is, how long have you actually been playing tabletop RPGs? And is this Dungeons and Dragons your first one, or have you started on other editions, anything like that? Great question, right? So cliche. I know. So Fennec, how about we start with you first today?
All right. So I've been around tabletop RPGs for a while. I know when I was growing up, every Saturday my parents would go to our neighbor's house and play. I don't remember what edition it was. But then I just kind of never looked at them again until right before the pandemic. I had joined a local group and, an in-person, and kind of started getting back into it. Then once COVID hit, stuck indoors, I went on Roll20 and actually did the looking for group. And here I am with actually the group that I found years later, still playing. So I would say just shy of the start of the pandemic is when I had started kind of really getting back into this. And I've walked away since.
Yeah, it's 3 years then.
Has it been that long? My God, I love you guys.
Yeah, 3 years. 3 years. It's 2030, 2020. Easy way to do the math in a way. Did I say 2030? Oops. Levin, let's kick it over to you and ignore my mistake on time.
Oh, no, and it won't be as big of a mistake as me answering this question. I've been playing since 1995.
Wow, all right.
So, 28 years. Fantastic. What got me started in the whole tabletop role-playing games was GURPS, the generic universal role-playing system.
Wow.
Yeah.
Real classic, man.
Classic is a nice way of putting it. Less classic is, I was the geek. I was the nerd. It was my music teacher had got me into it to start with, and that was the system he brought to me.
Hey, it's what you had back then in the day.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm going to make you feel old. I was 4 at the time, so I wasn't playing nothing back then.
Well, rolling from GURPS, I fell into 3rd edition Dungeons and Dragons and moved forward from that. But I've played over, if I'm parsing it correctly as an estimate, around 50 systems.
Hey. Very good. Well, we're glad to have your experience, quite frankly, because as we know, I've made plenty of mistakes with little rulings here and there, and you've always been able to help us out. So,
still trying to get that whole skill issue done with not for anybody on the table or you, me. I'm still trying to figure it out.
Hey, no worries. We're gonna kick it over to Mech next.
So all right, I say actually be playing for probably maybe 4 years now, and I have good old Aaron to thank for that. Me and Aaron been friends for a long time, and he's always liked this and tried to push me into it, and I was always nah, it's not my thing. And then just eventually played a game and had fun, and then that was it. Bought a bunch of dice, bought a bunch of books, and here we are.
Yes.
Well, first hit's free.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did he give you a little bag of dice and a little Ziploc bag?
He did.
Actually, yes, he's done it to me too.
He did. He's done it. He does it for all the players. Yeah, anybody he plays with, and it's always a matching theme to kind of what the character is too.
Yep.
So I was playing like this nice barbarian, so he got me these nice like metallic, like red, blackish type dice. It was great.
Mine were Icewind themed.
Yeah,
Although,
okay.
Mac, I do want to. I want to see. Can you define what a bunch of dice is?
I have to get up, but I can.
Oh, no.
So it sounds like Saris was right. The first hit is free. Speaking of, let's see. Saris, what about you for this question?
I started playing longer than I care to admit in high school. But after high school, I wanted to, like, my little brother was still playing, and I found this book on. Well, I found a book on Shadowrun, and then I found a book on Earth Dawn, and then I found a book on like Dungeons and Dragons, and I was like, okay, these all look like fun. And I was buying, so I bought them for the art. They had great pictures in them, and I just like, yeah, this is a good use of $40. And then I started reading the books and the rules, and I convinced my brother to play the Earth Dawn game. That was the first one I actually got to play. And we had like a little really bad campaign for like 5 months. And then I started having to, live life and be a grown up, which sucked. And then the pandemic hit, and I got to take a break from being a grown up. And then I discovered D&D again. A friend of mine said, "Hey, you should." I know I'm going to admit to a wrongness here, but a friend of mine said, "You should try Roll20. Everyone plays D&D there," and I did.
Hey, I mean, did you guys find each other on Roll20 also? Or was it D&D?
Yeah, this group found me on Roll20. So.
Yeah.
No judgment at all, right? No, that's really great. It's I think a lot of people found this stuff back in the pandemic. It seems like too.
Yeah.
I mean, you and Fennec, it sounds like both have a resurgence.
Yeah,
Couldn't
I knew it
have
was
asked for a
fun.
better
I
one.
just hadn't been able to play it in a long time.
Totally get it. Yeah, like you said, the adult flight kicked in. And Yami, how about yourself?
All right, so I am also hello guys, Yami. It's Yami. I'm also a pandemic baby, so I've always been interested in D&D. I just never had the time to do it, but since the pandemic came, obviously we all had more time on our hands than we wanted. So yeah, I was one day I was just like, I'm gonna look into it. But actually, I started watching the show. I'll get it. I'm not gonna name the show, whatever. But I got to the show, and it really sparked the flame again. I was like, you know what? Let me look into it and see what I can do if I can actually play online instead of in person, because where I was at, there was nobody that wanted to play. So I went online. I found actually some people through a Facebook group chat and stuff like that. Got together with them, and actually that's when I met Ant, our other DM. And then started playing with him as a player, and then he invited me to DM some games with him and these guys here, and that's when I met Aaron and Matt. And yeah, so we've just been playing ever since. It's been like a few years now. I think 2-3 years, if I'm not mistaken. Anybody wants to correct me?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right
and
on.
we've just been playing ever since. And yeah, got hooked on. And I'm hooked like phonics, and now I DM a little bit here and there, or trying to learn how to DM here and there.
Hey, it's always tricky to start, but then once you get your rhythm in it, you'll learn your style. That's the key thing. So, but glad to have you and everything. I guess my answer is I've been doing it for DMing for 6 years now. Various things between like Dungeons and Dragons, Cyberpunk, all sorts of weird little other things too. But glad to be a part of y'all's game now and everything. So here we are, right? Going live on Foundry and Twitch and all that jazz. Oh, and posting up on YouTube. Don't forget to like and subscribe and ring the little bell to to get the notifications. Always sounds weird saying that. But let's pick up where we left off. Which is where? We were in town, we were in Rote, we were doing different stuff. Saris had a little adventure. You guys talk to some people. Where do you guys want to start the little recap for the folk?
Well, we broke down. Had to make a pit stop.
Right. Our driver was crap.
Then got
Make
back
some
in that
gambling.
jalopy.
Driver was crap. Equipment was crap. Vehicle was crap.
So we
We
went
were
to
lucky
a
to
bar.
make it back alive.
Then we left off in the town. We made some bets. I think Cyrus went to go do her little thing like always, and we stood in the tavern, drank a
took
little
Fennec.
bit.
She took Fennec with him.
Yeah, exactly. And I think we just all went to get a rest after that, if I'm not mistaken.
We played some cornhole.
Yeah.
We bought the same swindlers a bunch of rounds, and politely fucked off.
Ferris, I bought everyone a bunch of rounds.
I meant the the we, the us, someone other than them.
Yes. Still bitter about that.
And he tried to become a bartender for himself.
You tried. Maybe one day you'll get hired for it.
He also opened up to, I believe, Saris or Levin about how he's treated. Can't remember who the conversation.
More Ceres.
More Saris. Then he went off with Levin.
Mm,
No, you went off with Saris,
I went off with Saris and fell asleep right when I
Yeah.
needed to be awake.
and she carried you back. Yeah.
Yep. Fennec was a mess last session.
Light and little.
Yeah, he's only 35, I think 35 pounds.
Yep.
Yep, 35. 35 pounds, 3.5 feet tall. He's good.
Put him in a backpack.
Yeah. Baby Bjorn.
Like a small little dog.
Yeah, you know, like that's
Yeah,
That's gonna do that to you if you get time out.
waddle him in his robes.
Oh man.
A Fennec burrito.
Hey.
I don't imagine the goblin tastes good though.
God no.
Well, and then I believe you all woke up. You collected your reward also.
Yeah.
And then you all were deciding on where to go from there.
I believe we were discussing going to check out the refugee situation or talking to Ramus.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And so, with that, we will pick up right from there. Guys are walking through Woat, I'm imagining, or if you want to start in the in the inn, would you like to start there, or just walking through the city?
I'd say walking.
I believe we were already departing at the end of the last session.
Right. Oh, right. Of course, because you guys are at the collecting the money from the other person. That is right.
Mhm.
Small mistake. So you guys are walking through the city. You know, you're walking through a fairly clean, well-kept neighborhood, and then as you start getting closer and closer towards the wall, you notice that things start to get less and less pristine. Cyrus, you might notice that you're walking towards some of the camps that you wandered through last night. However, now looking in the daylight, things seem to be a lot quieter, and there seems to be less people roaming around, especially as you guys start to exit out of the city gates.
Mm.
Going along, passing from the makeshift houses and everything. It's fairly silent. Just a couple younger folk that are awake, namely kids and maybe some of the adults watching them. And then eventually you come across a large, boisterous man who's missing a leg, and it's his left one, and it's made out of a mechanical sort of substance. You notice that he's barking orders. Make sure to load up the wagon over there. Oh wait, you need to make sure that those folk have bookage over there. Where are you going with that? That's not supposed. You fool! I'm gonna whip you if I could.
Well, he sounds nice.
Yeah, for a sailor, that is nice. He looks like a sailor. Well, I'm assuming he will. What does he look like again? What is he wearing? Like, kind of.
He's wearing clothes that you'd think are more towards the adventuring type. He's got a long duster with a kind of worn cowboyish style hat, and he's got a half smoked cigar hanging out of his mouth, and of course the missing left leg that is mechanical now.
Okay, so I want to recant what I said. So like, oh, look at him. Now that's a man.
I mean, he's got a nice piece.
Fennec's gonna eye the leg and then look at Mech. Does that make him like a third cousin of yours?
No. It's just it has. Oh God.
I want to do a little fist bump to Fennec. How's it going?
Thank you.
But
Not
yeah,
gonna lie to it, it's a nice piece.
See if we can do like a trade.
I like this
Nah.
guy already.
Nah, they don't match. How far is our journey from where we're trying to go?
Is in getting to where he is?
No. Like to the rest of where we're going.
For the refugees, you mean?
Have you talked to anybody about where they're going? What the situation?
Yeah, I believe we were just moving from the inn over towards where the refugees were being kept.
Gotcha.
Correct. Yeah, so to my understanding, you guys haven't picked up any information about where these people are going to, when they're leaving, or anything else like that.
Who
Gotcha.
is it that this guy's like? Is it workers or like would they come across as refugee, or is it like just the people loading and unloading?
This man is talking to a mixture of folk. Namely, you notice that he's talking to some people that are armed with short swords and the like, that are kind of like moving people around. And then you notice that the people that are carrying boxes do look like just standard workers that you've seen kind of like going around road, maybe that are moving kegs into inns, that are doing construction around or tending to the gardens.
Okay.
There seems to be a few refugees, of course, scattered throughout, kind of being maybe milled into different like sections almost, would be the best way to put it.
Do you think this guy knows anything about refugees or the refugees?
I mean, he's talking like he's in charge.
I mean, we can talk to the refugees and him, see what's going on over there, because they might have more insight unless he was there himself.
They'll probably just tell you to talk to him.
Why don't we talk to the loud one? Why don't we talk to the loud one first?
Good idea. He doesn't seem like the guy that would like us meddling without his permission.
My kind of guy. Let's go.
As you guys approach, you kind of notice that he notices you all when you're about maybe like 10 feet or so away, and as you get closer and closer, he then takes a match out and strikes up his cigar and says like, "Howdy y'all, what can I help you with? If you're looking for assistance, I'm sorry, but we already got a full load if you're trying to leave immediately. But well, actually, you guys don't look like the regulars.
Oh no, we aren't here for help. We're here to help. If you're
I
the one
see.
in charge, if this is the refugee camp.
Yeah, we are. I am. My name is Romos Erdrin. And he goes and like lays out a big hand for you guys to shake, and he goes to each one of you guys and gives you a like strong grip shake, almost like and some of you guys with lower strength scores might even feel like your arm go like jolting up and everything as he gives you a bigger shake.
I'm not gonna shake his hand.
I'm returning his handshake with a strong one too. Like that's, and I'm gonna lean over to Mike like that. Now that's a man's handshake. I'm gonna whisper.
Indeed. Now, well, okay. And as he, Saraceno would shake his hand, and he kind of gives a look that says, "All right, down to business. I see. Well, I could always use some assistance with this. We got a trip planned soon, and I could definitely use some extra hands going forward.
Where are you going?
We're going many miles to resettle these people over to their new home. We've been bringing folk out there for the last few months, resettling them and giving them a new life. And hopefully, they'll be able to make something of the land out there. So,
I think without like trying to be subtle, trying to be quiet, he's gonna look at Yami and Mike. I think we found our guy.
Yes, we did.
Nothing getting past you.
I try.
This is a big organization. Do you do this out of the kindness of your heart? I mean, this is a non-profit. What you're doing?
he gives like a laugh as the smoke he was just inhaling goes out of his mouth. No, I get well paid for what I'm doing, of course. And I pay the people that work for me quite well, as you can imagine. The Rote Kingdom wants to expand and help out all of the people that are coming to it. And we see this as a great way to help those people that have been displaced.
So you're going to displace them again in a location that's convenient for all involved parties.
Got it, as it gives you like a wink and points to the gun. Way I see it, these people need a home too, just like anyone else. Why not try to find them a place to go?
Why can't they stay here?
Wow, there's only so much room in the city, from what I know. And they need to, some of them are from the country anyhow. And so why not have them go and live in an area that's different, not their original home, I know, but that could be their new one. They could live a similar lifestyle, hopefully.
I'm just gonna look at Fennec and just be like, they don't fit in.
The reasons why are above my pay grade necessarily. I'm just here to provide the service that I do.
Saris will lean down to Fennec and whisper to him, "They don't fit in because the rich people don't want to look at them."
Well, that's not very nice.
Shrugs.
I mean, wouldn't it make sense for them to stay and help? Because, the rich people don't like working themselves, so they're going to want some help. So maybe if they hired these people and gave them a living conditions, they may not look and smell as bad as, the rich don't like.
They already do that with their help.
Oh.
They have all the people they want for help at the moment.
So, apologies, Ramos, was it? Where are these people to be relocated?
They'll be going off to a place we're calling New Siri. I believe is how they are calling it.
Yeah.
I mean, new Siri, new Siri. I don't, you know how the naming people go.
Yeah, it's
Here.
Syria, Seer, dialects from different regions. But I'm assuming they're not being loaded up on the rail for this trip.
No, no, no. This is off the rail and everything. We're going off into the northwest where the rail don't go. And so we'll be traveling over road for most of the journey over towards there. And we got a little bit off road traveling, and we'll be settling them over there.
So what would you need from us?
Well, currently, I'm waiting on some wagons to return that haven't made it back yet. You see, I come back a little earlier in each of the trips in order to get everything reorganized and settled. And I have to let the wagons that are carrying the last group come back, and they haven't returned. Unfortunately, so I'm hoping that with some new potential recruits, if you'd like, we can maybe work out an agreement for you to go and search for them and come back with them nice and safe.
Looks at the rest of the group. Seems easy enough.
So you got to recruit more refugees?
We gotta bring the empty carriages back. Well, how many was it, and how many people will be on them?
There's about a dozen of the wagons themselves. People wise, we're talking 2 per carriage, basically, a driver and a helper. There's no one riding back, like coming back here other than them.
Well,
So we got 2 carriages and 4 people to find.
And over 600 miles.
12
That's about
actually.
2 days. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, 12 carriages.
Oh, I was referring to one leg of the trip. Making the way back to road would double that distance.
400 miles, eh? That's fair. That's not too bad.
Your math is bad.
I mean, I do a lot of traveling, so I go on autopilot.
Ramos, can you leave unless they come back?
Yeah, I could. Unfortunately, it'll take even more time for me to set up and roll out. I'd have to go get new wagons and everything else there, which, it's not like they're just rolling around free to get and everything. So reusing is a big part of our,
It's a go and come back thing.
Okay. You got it.
Round trip escort.
So should we just hurry up and go? It sounds like a long trip too.
Are we leaving the city again?
It looks like.
Good to get away from all these people. Those people that's tracking us down and hunting us.
It's where the people that's easiest to hide.
Well, you have us.
Mm-hmm.
There's a Mac as he says that.
Come on, he got you.
And
Yes.
have these people been cleared to enter into New Sire?
Who are these all? Folk? Is he motions like with his hand around to the people that are like all around? Or do you mean for y'all? Because I imagine they should be just, at this point, they should only be a day or 2 away. Shouldn't be terribly far. Unless there's something really, held them up way off down the road. But
Sorry, I believe I wasn't being clear. The people in charge at the city that they're going to, they know that these people are coming?
Calling it a city is, let's put it like this, a mighty nice way to put it. This is more of a colony in a better way to say.
That doesn't answer my question.
Oh, well, yes, they know that they're coming. We've been doing this now for months. Coming back and forth, back and forth. Now we can only take...
Levin's going to take a slow breath in, slow breath out, and he is going to step back. Like, the rest of you, this is the first time you've seen Levin visibly frustrated.
Oh, that's new.
Like, waits to see what happens next. Curious to see if anyone's gonna die.
No, Levin is just going to take a step back and let the conversation continue.
So,
Well, that sounds like a very, very horrible place, but we'll go and find your carriages for you.
right on.
Yeah, sounds very interesting indeed.
Sounds more like a camp. One problem at a time.
Now, you said that people who help you are paid well. What are we talking here?
Well, for this, shouldn't be expecting too much trouble or nothing. But I see we got what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As he kind of like points to each and every one of you. I think we could reason something like 50 gold per folk.
I mean, what you're doing, it's all well intentioned, but the means of doing it and where you're putting them, I mean, that's like 75 gold a folk to kind of keep us from really turning our cheek, going somewhere else and helping.
Tell you what, give me a persuasion roll.
Can I tap him on the shoulder and give him guidance real quick?
Yeah, if you can do it like that's not like a very overt spell, isn't it? So,
Believe it has a vocal and somatic component. I think the somatic component is the touch, but I think there's a vocal
somatic is
element.
hand gestures and verbal is distinctly verbal.
yeah. Again, you can whisper it though. Then we'll let it. You can give him guidance as long as it's not. You got to do anything crazy. So hand gesture wise.
I mean, I imagine I can sort of like turn to a side as if I'm talking to Levin, and then just when the spell, right as I cast the spell, I can reach out and just tap Fennec on the shoulder.
Works for me.
Behind the corner. All right.
I mean, guidance lasts for up to a minute as long as you just get it like 30 or so feet away from him. You won't even notice.
Yeah.
It's not touch?
Well, no. The guidance spell does require you to touch the target, but it's concentration up to a minute.
Yeah.
But in
Either
order
way.
not to be noticed, you kind of have to be a distance away because the verbal and somatic is distinct. Like, you can't whisper it.
27.
Takes a long drag, holds the smoke for a minute, and then blows out a big billow. All right. Tell you what, we are in a tough little spot here, so deal. We'll do 75.
Pleasure doing business. It's not personal. Hope you know that.
Well, that's all good. I take nothing personal, to be frank.
Oh,
Keep in
you and
mind,
I get along just fine.
Keep in mind, y'all do a good job and get everything back in order. We'll make sure to have a spot for you if you like to help out the next grouping. But Need anything else from me? I gotta get back to those folk over there and keep everything in line.
Point us in a direction.
All right, and he's gonna go over really quick, take out like a little notepad, kind of like start jotting on it a little bit, and he's gonna rip off the sheet of paper and hold it out towards y'all. And who's gonna take it?
I'll grab it. I asked.
Deal. Hands it over to Mac. He says, "All right, now y'all be safe, okay?"
Should do our best.
Safety first.
I think we give like a half-ass salute.
Hey, if you're gonna do it right.
And then he straightens up mockingly and, gives a full salute, exaggerating all of it.
Attaboy.
Since when were you a soldier?
That a serious question?
Is that Matt asking or Mac asking?
It's Mech asking.
It was a joke.
It's I was built for it, so just at least show a little respect. I've taught you better than that.
Yeah. Just playing. My arms are tired. This guy's like, he would mention how the handshake kind of did his arm in.
Well, you shouldn't shake people's hands if you're the size of their forearm.
It was being polite. You want me to be polite? You want me to be respectful? Pick one.
Fair.
I am also 3.5 feet tall.
Hence why you should just go in for a fist bump.
Can we go?
In a way, y'all go. All right. So, will we all be heading off immediately, or is there any prep work you'd like to do? Just so that we're all on the same page here.
Nope, I'm good to go.
All right, let's get at it then.
I think I'm all right. Yeah.
We had a long rest already, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
we're rested.
One of you might be a little sleepy tired, but you've all had a long rest. So, Levin has marked that has been pinged where he pointed out to where Rope and News Siri is.
Mm-hmm. And
Now
going
they
by
will-
road, it's woof. Wow, I actually wasn't far off. 600 on one way.
You
And
nailed
that's as the crow flies.
it.
Where is it at again? Can you ping it?
New Sire is right here.
Oh, down. Okay, south.
Mm-hmm.
I see it. All right.
Got it.
That's where we're going. And where are we at right now?
To the left,
Oh,
over in the
over.
capital city of Rote.
Oh, so, okay. That's pretty. All right.
600
that's
miles
good.
as the crow flies.
Yeah, that's not too far, but it's far enough.
A little ways.
We're
Yeah,
walking.
we should definitely get started. We got a wagon, right?
Definitely.
No, we're trying to find a wagon.
Oh, fuck.
I think we're
My
walking.
French.
So yes, you all can choose if you would like to walk, or you can hire a sky coach potentially if you would like to.
Let's go for the sky coach. I'll chip in for that.
We're supposed to find people. They could be off the road. They're in carriages. Why would we take a sky coach?
And I don't know if you're keeping track or not, Dad, but our track record with sky coaches is 0 for 2.
I mean, I walk everywhere. I mean, if you guys are down for walking, that's good. We got some camping trips. I like it. We can all bond.
So
Campfires.
why'd you ask for a sky coach?
Because I don't know, you guys are all fancy. Like we've been taking them everywhere we went.
Come on, we'll go on a family vacation.
No, because they're far.
I like the idea of a sky coach.
I vote camping. But it's a vote. There's 5 of us. We should come to a consensus.
You should.
The idea of a sky coach is one of convenience, but we wouldn't exactly be able to do any type of security work if we're all in the coach.
At least to find it.
So that's
And
3 for camping.
I mean, we can use it to at least go looking for this wagon caravan.
Real advantage.
Well, higher vantage point would be sensible.
But can we be really picky about who's driving this time?
Indeed.
Sure, I'll leave that to you.
Wait, so we're not camping?
Not on the way there. Maybe on the way back, Pop. We'll go. Don't worry. We'll be okay.
Go back to
Alright,
the
Mac.
city.
Yep. Back to look for a sky coach.
Okay.
I don't want to know which one this is.
I don't see how much searching we can do, but majority rules.
Well, if they're out in that area, we got plenty of space between. We can go halfway and then walk, 3/4 away walk. Like we can kind of we're really good at landing wherever.
I mean, it would be easier if we could spot them because it would be quicker and we can spot them from the sky. It'd be a lot. I guess Levin is right. High vantage gives us more coverage. Assuming that the roads aren't all covered up by trees and such.
And if we're flying, you're not getting dirt and mud and grass and all that stuff smudged all over you.
That sounds nice right about now.
Let's be real. The most of the dirt that's going to get on me is probably going to be from you two.
Probably. I'm gonna stare off into space and smack Mac on his back. Probably.
Well, no, not even you. And then just looks to Saris.
And
Slowly lowers the mud in her hand.
Exactly.
And if I'm going to be honest, most of our travel is going to take place over grasslands, so it's on you whether or not you want to deal with it.
All right, let's go get the sky coach and hurry up and get on. We got a long way to go, man. Let's find some refugees.
All right, off to the city. We're not going to find one here.
And with that, you guys pull up to where the sky coaches are all parked. You notice that there seems to be only 2 options. There's a familiar sky coach sitting in the bay.
Automatically walking past it.
Yep.
And then
No.
there's another one just past it, a couple bay doors down and everything. And as you all approach, you notice that a older man comes out. Can I help y'all?
Yes, actually, I have one question. How long have you been flying this? Or did you just start flying it? Because if you've been flying it for this long and you're at this age, I feel pretty safe. But if you just started and you're at this age, I'm not pretty safe. Sorry to be blunt, but we had bad experiences.
Well, me and Betty have been flying for about 35 years altogether. You notice he pulls on his suspenders as he says this.
You can still
We've been around a long time. And then he starts rambling on about him and his ship, and it seems like 10 minutes easily if you don't interrupt him.
So no, I'm gonna let him ramble, but while he's rambling, look back to the other guys like, This guy is the one.
You were worried about his flight experience, not his massively old age.
Well, listen, he's been doing it for 30 years with no problems, and he doesn't look like he's in a dupa. So I go with experience over. I'm gonna look over to the other two and be like, over that. So
Yeah, but we know they're hard. Well, we just know their coach is shit.
exactly. And if he's been running for 30 years, I'm pretty sure we might get there a little slow, but we'll get there safe.
With
And
the
we do
blinker
have to
on the
surveil the
entire
area.
time.
How much is this guy talking?
Well, I feel like we're talking while he's rambling, but he
Right,
doesn't
yeah.
notice us. He's just,
Yeah,
he's just
no.
like, yeah, and then we're just like,
Like
yeah,
he
I
went
hear you.
full Abraham Simpson on us.
Yeah, just
Man yells at cloud.
starts talking while we're talking, having a conversation amongst us stuff. He's just in the background, just like.
At any point, does he wax poetic about Pepperidge Farm cookies?
Back in my day.
Not about this Pepperidge Farm place, but he does talk about the Terraston cookies at one point.
Okay, oh
So
man,
we-
listen. How much is it going to cost to go to the grasslands? And no questions asked. And we just pay you, you drive, you stop, you drive, you stop.
Well, I'm sorry, but I don't just not ask questions about where I'm going. I gotta know what direction we're flying, where we're going. Me and Betty only go to one place and back. We're not a kind of free flying people, just going willy-nilly around.
We're going to New Year.
Oh, okay. Well, if we're gonna, if we're gonna stick by the roads, it'll take us a few days to get there. I figure about, I don't know, 300 or so.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Oh, it'll be about 300 because we'll be going by the northern roads and everything. The eastern roads are dangerous as all heck. So we want to stay clear of that.
No.
I think I heard camping. You guys want to go camping?
No.
What makes the eastern roads dangerous?
Oh, it's just less controlled in a certain way for flying and such. As he kind of takes a big breath in and everything. It's just less controllable, you see, and less predictable off the howling peaks, the winds that come through there, and between there and the seawall mountains, the terrible gusts just blow right through.
Well, what if we can assure you for a cheaper price that you're traveling with us, no danger will come to harm you besides maybe the wind, possibly. But anything else, it'd be free of that.
Well, I hope we'd be free of it flying quickly over the terrain. So I'm sorry, fellers, but we can't be just cutting down the price just because of that. I'd have to up the price going down in that area.
Also, while we can protect the coach from outside threats, we can't exactly stop the wind.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's what I said. Besides that,
Walk back to the twins.
I was thinking that.
we'll be right back, sir. Hold that thought.
Oh, okay. I'll be right here.
Don't go anywhere.
You head towards the twins.
He's not going.
Unless he dies.
He's probably going to die if we take it.
If they both die, free coach.
Don't say things like that in front of Fennec.
Oh, this is the player saying this, not Levin. Levin would not be foolish enough to say that in any proximity to any of this group except Mac.
So the twins then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Alright.
I'll approach the twins and just like, hey,
Well, howdy! What y'all up to? What's going on? Say, sorry we, had to skip out so quickly last night. She wanted to get back to work on the Sky Coach and everything, and we got it up and running, though.
Well, miracles never cease.
Oh, heck yeah. She's a whiz at all this kind of stuff, don't you know? My sis can turn around any sort of machinery.
That's great. We're thinking of going down the Eastern Road. How much would you charge for that?
Eastern Road? I don't know. Like, how far down it? I guess.
As far as we
That's-
say.
You know what? We've been doing pretty good. And you know what? I think about 150 might do the price, right?
Twins it is.
Levin is going to
Jack-
Sure, you
shudder.
can't knock that down just a little bit. This seemed to be an accident last night with your tab.
Did there? Shoot.
She's staring like murderous daggers at him.
Oh, heck. What was it? The bill came in heavy?
Just a little. Seems you
Well,
have a proclivity for very fine drink.
Well, who don't, Give
Me.
me a
I don't.
give me a persuade roll real quick, fast, and maybe you can get a little bit knocked off.
Okay. Fuck. I hate
I'll
this.
tell you this. How about this? We'll play some games on the road if it takes us too long. Maybe you can win back some of that. But for the last night's tab, and he gives you like 5 gold. That covers it, don't it?
Sure.
Y'all are a fun group anyhow, so let's go. Let's head on off. You hear him like give like a loud whistle as he puts his fingers between his teeth. Sis, she ready to fly? You hear like yelling out there. Whoop. Yeah, it's set to go.
Could we all get lunch before we go?
And a drink, please.
Well, that's mighty fine of y'all if you want to go get us some of that. I won't say no.
Right? Yeah, Sarah said she got you again.
There's a great shop just down the street. I hear it's called Jaffer's Place. They make a sub that's so big, it's about as big as his like chest and everything as he points over at Fennec.
All right. We're going to need sodas, water, snacks. I'll be right back.
I'll go with
Run
you.
off and go get lunch for everybody.
I'm gonna go with Mac.
Wait,
We
why
don't need that.
is Fennec being pointed at?
He used you as a size reference for how like massive a sandwich is. Mind you, he's also a halfling, so he's not that much bigger than you, I think.
You want 6-inch, foot-long, or goblin?
There we go. I'm naming it a size of sandwich.
Alrighty, so we get everything come back, I'm assuming, and we're all saddled up. Anybody got anything else to do? Any more dirt to put on themselves?
You can
I like
certainly
that.
try.
Like, I don't know. I think Dirty Mac is pretty cool.
Well, I like being shiny, despite what everyone else thinks.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm gonna lean in like you're kind of a dick when you're shiny. You know that?
No. You know, you're kind of a dick all the time.
Oh yeah, I know that, but at least I don't hide it.
Okay.
Behind all
And
my
you-
shininess.
And you're filthy. And he just like rubs his finger on your cheek and then puts it on the wall.
What do you mean? That's extra coating from the sun.
Ah, gotcha. Camouflage. Right, right.
Mac, if you're concerned about being marred, why don't you change your style of clothing?
Yeah, we're all white.
No, I mean something with a little more coverage.
I
All white cloak.
I don't. No, it's stupid. There's all these bad ideas today. No, all right. I don't like wearing clothes.
And as y'all kind of like get into the conversation, you hear him go, "All right, y'all, buckle up." You hear the engine start roaring up. And as the engine starts to die, all of a sudden you hear a "God damn it!" a loud crack of something in the basement.
There we go.
Everything kicks back on all of a sudden,
We didn't even leave yet.
and it lifts off. All right, y'all, we out. And the ship takes off. And with that, we're gonna go to our break. We'll be back in a moment, y'all.
Perfect time.
Welcome back, everybody. Hope you're all set for this road travel on the Twins Sky Coach. I know I certainly am. All right. So y'all are hovering along above the road, skirting along the dirt, going a brisk speed, moving across the countryside. It's nice overall. The sun's out, birds are chirping, but you can't really hear that going as fast as you are. As you're going along, about half the day, about the full day goes by, and it starts getting like close to nightfall. You haven't seen any trace of it. As you guys go into the following day, nightfall hits. They say like, "Hey, I think we should set up camp, y'all," and they land the craft and start setting things up. So I think if you all can help watch the coach, that'd be really wonderful. Otherwise, we can, figure something out. Overall, we can always just lock the doors too. We've never had too much trouble out here,
I highly doubt people are going to try and steal this.
Find like you're on a roll today.
Must have learned a lot from Ceres on your journey.
Yep.
And kind of like, if he can scowl at you, he would.
Somebody's a little jealous. It's alright, you'll have your time.
Sounds like you two are jealous.
I'm not jealous. Mech is.
Not jealous. Curious. Someone should care.
What do you mean? He's all grown up. He's a man now. Look at him. He'll make his own choices and learn from them.
Huh. Look at that, Ceres. They can be taught.
Well, I'm not helping watch nothing unless you're giving a discount. So I'd rather wait.
No, this is built in the fee. That's built into the fee.
It's fine. I'll take watch.
There's no way in hell. There's no way in hell I trust them to keep an adequate watch.
Agreed.
The night passes uneventfully. You wake up the next day. The brother's got some coffee boiling in a pot and offers you all some coffee if you'd like.
Oh.
Morning, y'all. So, you said we were looking for something, right? What are we looking for exactly? Or are we just heading off to New Siri?
Max kind of look at the other group and just kind of be like, we're looking for 2 stagecoaches. They should have been back days ago. That's all. Nothing special.
All right. If I see anything, I'll holler at y'all.
Oh, we're watching. Don't worry.
I'd like to sit on the roof of the Sky Coach if I could, while we're traveling.
Ooh, sounds like fun. I'll join you.
Thrill seekers, I like it. Heck yeah, you can. Just remember, hold on, just in case we need to make any sharp turns.
If I look on the roof, is there anything to loop a rope around to make have a handle or a tether?
Yeah, you could find a spot.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna do that and tie it around my waist and around the loop.
Okay, sounds like a good plan.
Same.
I'm gonna check
Unless-
just to make sure it's tight. All right, you're good.
As I cinch mine over, I look at Yav. It's it's a terrible idea because when this inevitably crashes, we're going to be attached to it.
Oh, well, we could always cut it, hopefully, before.
I know I can.
Well, I mean, shoot, I definitely can. I'll rip it, if anything. But we'll figure it out as we go.
Don't you guys still have those tokens?
I do. But no, what services are saying is basically if it crashes, token or not, if it goes down,
It-
we're getting pulled with it since we're attached to the car itself.
If it
It's just-
rolls, we're going to get rolled
Yeah.
with it.
You don't need to tie yourself, is what he's getting at. It'd be
Yeah, then
safer to just fall off of it.
How
Unless
fast
he
is this
drops.
thing going?
Pardon?
How fast does it go?
It's going about 40 miles an hour. The trouble is that it's not a distance down that you need to worry about. It's the vertical distance the horizontal distance you would cover if you fell off.
Exactly. So yeah, I'd say we stay attached because worst case scenario, we'll just cut it. Just in case it goes too fast and we don't get our bearing right.
And as
It's
you
fine.
guys finish tying everything up and yelling at each other, the ship takes off and then picks back up its velocity going down the road. And about 2 hours into it, it's not hard to notice. So any one of y'all's passive perceptions are probably going to notice this thing, but you notice that there's a fairly small smoke cloud coming up in the distance of the road. And as you guys get closer to it, you can see that there's about a dozen wagons charred out and burned going down a big section of the road there.
There it is.
That's a lot more than 2.
And just the condition I expect.
It's always been more than 2.
I thought he said 12.
It's 12. It's been 12.
Oh.
Yeah, I thought so too. I was like, 2.
Oh boy.
It was 12 stagecoaches and 2 people per coach, right?
Oh, that must
Yeah.
have been, that must have been where okay.
Exactly. And so as you, I'm guessing everybody, they land, that you tell them to land the thing, and you hop out, and you're now like on the side of the road. And how do y'all want to proceed from here?
How far away are we?
Maybe like 30 feet-ish from it.
Do we see signs of like any like bodies, footprints, anything like that?
Give me an investigation check.
Yeah.
While he's doing
all-
that, Levin's going to start doing a perimeter sweep.
That's a nope.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm gonna do the same thing as Fennec. I'm sorry, go ahead,
Well-
Rob, though.
While my companions are still within range, I'm going to cast Aid.
Okay.
So I'll let Levin said he wants to do perimeter sweep, so I'll let him get to that before I do my check.
And I'm going to give that to myself, Fennec, and Yami. We each basically get 5 more hit points, and our maximum hit points goes up by 5.
Rock on.
So those aren't temporary, those are max.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's our max hit points for the next 8 hours, so we can be repeatedly healed up to an extra 5 hit points for 8 hours.
There's a spot in that in a D&D Beyond thing, if you didn't know.
No,
How do I do it again?
I was doing it on the Foundry page.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a plus max right by your HP.
The max HP modifier, or the override max HP.
The modifier.
Okay.
Because then you could take that back off.
Okay, got it. Oh, I see it now. Got you. I like it.
And Levin, give me a perception roll while you're out doing that.
25.
All right. So, Fennec, you notice that these carriages are really charred. They're like burnt up to a crisp. And you see you essentially see in a couple of them Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen like sitting in the carriages. And then Levin, what you'll notice is that there seems to be a couple of what at first appear to be game trails leading onto the road, but then you notice that they don't actually like cross the road in a pattern, and that they seem to be not necessarily from actual game, but they are from what you can assume to be potentially ambushers of some sort.
Also, I did want to do a survival check to check for footprints and stuff like that instead of an investigation more so.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine.
All right. I'll follow where the footprints appear to be exiting towards, just to get a general direction of where they ran off to after coming here.
Going to inspect the corpses for any sort of valuable clues worth keeping to increase my monetary wealth.
Okay. So we'll roll over your 11s, and along with Yami searching with his survival rule, what you'll notice is that the footprints all seem to, there's a lot of chaos going on inside of once they hit the road, but then they all seem to kind of go off towards the northern part of the road, and they exit all off there. And there seems to be a good amount of footprints from it, but it's hard to gauge because it's kind of mudded out and washed over at this point.
So with that road, I'll be able to get like a gauge on how many were there, or like a range. Is this like a travel? Like when they go
Like
off road,
a band of 10 or 20.
yeah. Like so, when you say they go off road, I would assume that I would get a better, because if there's a main travel road, I would assume there's obviously more footprints traveled. But if they go off road, I bet get like a better idea.
You're right. So the thing about, you're gonna be able to gauge that there's a sizable amount of people. However, the trail has been degraded over a sense of time. And so this happened, you're able to gauge that this happened like not yesterday, not a day ago. This has happened quite a bit of time ago.
Okay, that was my next question. Thank you. So yeah, I would relate it to the group like, oh, well, these tracks are kind of old here, and they go off this trail, but it seems like to be a good amount, but I can't really get a good gauge on it.
That's fine.
Were
They clearly were attacked.
Were these like humanoid footprints? What kind of footprints were they?
Yes, the ones that you see are humanoid.
Okay.
Were there any bodies around? 'Cause I know people were doing searching. So was it just like the 2 for every driver, or was there more than that?
You're correct. And so as you're thinking that, you're going to start probably meeting up with Saris and her investigation, and you'll notice that all the bodies have been stripped off, and most of them have been burned afterward with the carts and everything. Whether they are laying in the beds, or they seem to even be, some of them are tied to the actual like driving coach positions of it. You notice also that there doesn't seem to be any like horses or anything around.
So Mech's gonna look around and like have one of those like PTS, like just kind of flashback, stare off to the distant moment, and just be like, "No, this was planned. They took everything."
You also said you said everything was burnt, right?
All the bodies. Yeah, some of them.
In the carriages.
Definitely.
So as you're trying to like pick through the ashes, you're maybe picking out like a copper here or there. Especially in the like when you're looking at some of the people that were dragged off of the carriages, there doesn't and that they're not their bodies aren't burned. There doesn't even just seem to be anything like they even took their shoes, it looks like.
Disgusting monsters. I'd be more than happy to kill them.
You said we had a heading. You said this footprints went in a certain direction.
They're
Trying to
old,
go kill
but
some monsters.
towards the
Four
north
legs
end.
two.
Then that's where we go.
4 legs of 2. A monster's a monster to me. Let's go.
Hold on. Let's reiterate. What exactly was our purpose here?
To bring them back.
The carriages, the people, cargo. Were there any particulars on that?
No, not that I heard of.
Well, I do believe they said safely. That might have been a key word.
Yeah, there was nobody specific. He just said we needed this much and that many people.
If I do a body count, can I account for like a pair for each wagon?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's gone by the wayside.
And on this map, how close are we, or how far from Rote are we?
About here.
Okay. All right.
Mech's gonna answer 11. So you just want to leave and just tell them that we found them?
I don't see any animals here that we could direct towards pulling these wrecks. We can't carry the bodies. And we weren't asked to investigate anything here. This is literally outside of the scope of our request.
Right. We were asked to bring things back safely. This doesn't look safe to me.
I'm gonna grip my sword and be like, well, they didn't ask us to do this, and we can't go around killing senselessly.
We totally can if it's for a good cause.
I agree completely, but we'll leave it to the group vote.
No.
So you got 2 for going, 1 for not so far. I'm assuming 11's side.
It bothers me, but we're not the authority.
DM, can I do a flavor roll of intelligence to see if Fennec has an idea? Just like to see, like, above, like, to see if the idea would come to him.
Sure. What are you thinking, though? Actually, just tell me what you're thinking.
So he's thinking with like the nice, how Ramos was talking about these refugees in general, and then like relocating them and how people view them. That he's curious as if like he has the whole setup because he's getting paid for it, and then orchestrates scene that we're looking at to kind of, reduce the refugee numbers. Like this could be like an inside thing, or this could be a planned thing against the refugees.
Are you asking if Fennec is smart enough to know if this was an inside job?
Yes.
Okay.
I would say that you're not going to get that kind of inkling.
Okay.
Yeah, what's yeah? So with even with like kind of rolling an idea roll like that, I like I like the literal idea and everything. Yeah, it's you're not gonna feel that this is like an inside job in a sort of way.
Okay. I'm basing the idea of how Fennec reacted to how the job was presented and
No,
how they're talked about.
no, and like even as you're kind of like thinking on it, you might even remember that you might have even heard something about the roads being especially dangerous recently, as you were kind of like as you were at the bar the other night,
Yeah.
and how that the roads just aren't as safe as they were before.
Okay.
Yeah, the old man told us that actually as well.
Okay.
But yeah, so what's the vote? Are we going or are we going back and reporting what we found? Cyrus, it's on you.
Well, I don't want to find out what kills 12 people on the road. And I'm not
Well,
particularly attached to anyone here.
12 villagers, not fighters like us.
I
I think we
mean,
can give them a run for their money.
I'm not really interested in picking a fight. I just want to figure out.
I say we go back, report what we found, and
All
collect.
right, so three out of two. We got outvoted mech, so I guess we're going back and reporting.
That's fine. It's understandable.
If they want us to come back and investigate, we can. But right now, we have completed. Mech will start kind of talking Fennec will start talking in a way Mechner says, our current objective is complete.
I mean, but if we have to come back when we're already, it's going to be a waste of time and money. Because I'm pretty sure they're not going to do it for free.
I'm not doing it.
I'm not compelled to go above and beyond for that prick back at the road.
Read.
Well, it is what it is. A vote is a vote. So I guess we're going back.
I mean, if we just putting it out there, if this happened once, it's gonna happen again.
And there's the other side. If they're going to be leading refugees through this area, there's going to be a need to increase security.
We're eventually gonna either come back the next day or come back eventually.
Well, maybe this will appeal to Fennec and Cyrus a bit more. Pretty sure that if they took everything, they might have a lot of good stuff on them, if not gold, since you like that so much.
I'm going to assume these wagons were empty. Because they were carrying people, and I only count 24 bodies.
And they took all their shoes off of them, so I'm pretty sure they took everything if they've taken the shoes off their dead feet.
Could just be a weird fetish.
I mean, I can steal shoes from people just as easily en route.
Yeah, but you don't kill them doing it.
True.
I say we just get it done now, and it'll be a bonding experience. Come on. Do one good thing in your life for once.
You don't have to
all
pick
that
a
crime.
fight. We will.
Yeah, you hang back. I'll stay close to me. I got you.
I don't like it out here. It's open. There's dirt everywhere. There's stuff growing in the dirt. There's things making sounds that aren't people. It all smells
See?
weird.
Even better, we're in the open, so let's close in on them.
It's nature. It's
They're not
everything
expecting
else.
it.
It's peaceful.
It's
I hate it.
Like this session into a Griswold family vacation.
Look, if you're that hard up on checking things, we could scout and see where they went.
That's a
They're
happy
less-
medium.
If they're less than a day out, we simply get the location and come back and report that.
What's everyone's passive perception, by the way?
17.
14.
And
Um,
Can I see mine? 1 second. What the heck? Oh, mine is 12.
And Levin, as you finish saying those couple words, you hear something maybe about like 50 yards off. Or not 50 yards, sorry, that's 50 feet away. Making quite a lot of rustling noise. Or not
The rest of you are going to see Levin leveling his crossbow and pointing in the direction of that noise. Just literally snap to.
Ceres
I think-
steps behind Mech and attempts to hide.
Ceres, I think Ceres, you said your passive was that high too, so you would have heard the rustling as well.
Yep, she's ducking behind Mech and like basically taking the hide action.
Huh.
seeing that, I'll stand up and fucking. If I see Levin putting up a crossbow, I'm gonna turn around and see what it is. Can I cast Divine Sense? You said 50 feet away, right?
Mhm.
Can I cast Divine Sense? It's
You cast
yeah, it's just I can detect evil and good. Wait, is that where is that? Is that the right one?
Inspiration
Anything
Yeah.
affected
and
by the hollow spell or no location of any celestial, fiend, or undead within 60 feet that's not behind total cover.
Total cover. Yep.
I mean, you can cast whatever you like, quite frankly.
Well, I'm gonna
He's,
do it.
You're using the feature.
Oh, okay. Which one is it again? Sorry.
Divine Sense. So it's just
Divine.
celestial. If it's a celestial, fiend, or undead.
That isn't behind full cover.
Yeah.
Or if it's
Yeah.
otherwise affected by the hollow spell.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry, I thought of Dark Souls for a minute there.
That's fair.
I was like, the hollows?
Is there anywhere like Fennec could jump behind for cover, like a larger rock, a bush, anything like that?
There's multiple burnt carriages.
I want to jump behind one and take the hide action as well.
But you don't sense any of those types
Got it.
over there.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna draw my great sword. I'm like, ha! So we don't have to find them. They found us. Makes our job easy. And I'm stepping forward ahead of the group, like not ahead of them, but like stepping up front, bracing myself. I'm gonna be ready just to see what's going on, what everybody's looking at.
You hear some rustling, but only those with you with a passive perception above, or even like if you're actively even paying attention above an 11, we notice that the sound sounds to be getting further away from you now.
Probably a scout. Was it real quick? Was it coming from the direction of the trail where that we was looking at, from the footprints and everything?
Roughly, yes. Not like directly on it, but think of like if you were looking down the path, it would be to the path and left.
So not the path that they went off trail, a different path.
No, there's not like a path on there. It just seems like it's in that direction and to the left.
I don't know if this is goading us or if this is a trap to ambush us, or it was a scout, or just it could have been a rabbit.
While Fennec is kind of tucked behind one of the carriages. Can he determine like how long ago or how long these fires have been burning? Like, is it like a engulfed? Is it like, a couple tinders or embers or like
They were
I think
they were burned out like a while ago.
yeah, they're all crispy.
Yeah, like they ain't moved.
They're a couple days
I thought
late.
they're still on fire.
Yeah, their ashes basically are crisp
Okay.
into ashes. But yeah, so we do. Do we sit here and be scared, or we go and kill this thing?
Levin's going to start looking around. What small animals are in the area, if any?
You notice it's like super quiet actually. And then you don't even, now that you're thinking about it, you haven't heard the sound of a bird since you've landed.
Well, we're spending more time here than our journey. What are we doing before I go?
Don't want to leave.
Then we should push forward. It's
If you're
heading away
scared,
from
me
us.
and Mech will go ahead. If you hear screams, you run away. It's probably them.
This was extremely recent. Preventing problems for the refugees in the future, we should probably scout. Especially if they're going to be taking the Eastern Road.
All right, well, you guys heard him, right? So,
I'm scouting.
point
We got
the
3 for
direction and
scouting.
we'll go.
I'll scout ahead.
Stay here.
I'm not very good at being quiet, so I'll let you guys take point.
Yeah, Ceres is going to be as sneaky as all hell.
Levin's going to be the same. He's gonna, like, whatever brush or foliage is in the area, he's gonna keep along that, but he's going to head along the path that we saw the tracks going.
Yep. Ceres will mutter a little prayer of guidance to give her steps a little extra quiet. And do we roll stealth?
Yep.
Yay.
I was gonna say, yeah, I want to roll stuff as well with guidance. Do I have guidance? No, I do not. So never mind.
Damn.
I don't know.
3 nat 20s in a row.
Just means
So
we're
y'all-
screwed when combat comes.
Yep.
Yeah. That's, if you remember last game, it was a couple games ago. So you guys you're able to stealthily move upwards, and you seem to be matching the speed of whatever is in front of you at the moment. Especially as you all are trying to remain fairly hidden. But it doesn't seem like this thing is trying to be stealthy at all now.
How large does it sound?
Not very.
Hmm.
It's not making like crashing noises or anything. It's making enough noise for you to hear it moving through the foliage now. And then maybe after like 10-15 minutes of like pursuit, you notice that it now seems to be like almost like thudding on the road.
Thudding. That's a peculiar sound. Is it a distinct thudding or just a thudding in general? Because like,
I would think
But I know
thudding
that
on
the
its own
whole-
is distinct.
know because I'm like, I don't know if I can gauge if it's like I can see if it's like can I determine how many feet it's running on? Like if it's bipedal or quad pedal?
At the distance you're kind of at, it would be really tough to do, but
Okay.
you can try an investigation check if you'd like.
Just a quick thing, Yami. If we're maintaining stealth, we are moving at half speed.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if they're booking and we want to keep up, we have to break stealth.
Mhm.
Okay, but he said that it's not booking. It's like trailing along, right?
He said it was disregarding stealth.
Oh no, y'all could hear it for quite a while, and then it got louder and louder as it was going along.
He said
Yeah, I
we were
got
matching
12.
pace with it.
Yeah,
Oh,
I got 12.
my mistake if with the matching pace necessarily, but yeah, with the 12, it seems to have picked up tempo, but you can't really tell if it's like a 4-footed, 6-footed, or 2-footed thing.
Okay. All right. Well,
Levin's gonna sidle up to Yami. Look, if we're discreet, we can at least continue tracking it. We don't have to give away our position.
true. All right, you take point. I'll be here. I'll hang back. I'm not too discreet myself, so I'm just like lay low a little bit more, so I don't give it away.
And Levin will continue towards tracking where this thing has gone. He's not going to emphasize keeping up with it in speed, just making sure that he knows where it's going.
Yeah. Sarah, would you like to help him, or who would like to potentially be doing the role to see how this all goes?
What are we rolling?
People want to
Like,
survive.
yeah, it's like we're
Unless-
following tracks, so it's
Yeah.
pretty much that.
I have
Cash.
I have a positive modifier for that.
She is not a tracker, so
I think Yami's our best bet on that, so I'd probably be helping him.
Yeah, I would say if you were to give
For tracking, I'm pretty good at surviving. My job, literally.
go ahead and give it a try.
Would it be an advantage if I'm getting assistance?
Yeah, if one of the players is helping.
Yeah, I would be a distance away and then coming back up to Yami to just triangulate the path that it's taking.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you also have Saris potentially, you guys are able. 19, all right. So you're able to stay on the trail. Levin is maybe noticing some footprints here. Saris is noticing some broken leaves over there. And then eventually you guys notice that the trail brings you back onto a larger kind of like trail of some sort. And as you're going along, you stop all of a sudden as you notice that you're now overlooking what seems to be kind of like a overgrown vineyard of sorts. And as you kind of like look over the trail, you notice that there's like a dude like running in like the middle of a like open area, and then he seems to go into one of the houses over there into the distance.
does it seem like he was the guy we were tracking? Or whatever it was we were tracking?
One could assume.
How many houses are there that we see? If this is a big open vineyard.
There's a lot.
How many appear occupied?
from the looks of it, it all seems pretty overgrown and beaten up.
Right.
We just saw one person, right?
Mm-hmm.
One person didn't do all that.
I agree.
No. We could take a two-pronged approach on this. We could have
I
our-
say two. I say me and Mech, we hide in the woods. Me, Mech, and Fennec, and let Levin and Cyrus confront them. And if anything goes haywire, we come out and ambush them.
That's an option. But our less stealthy companions could take the more direct route and maybe ask the people here what's going on, while the more discreet can go around and see if we can find anything or listen to anything.
So vice versa plan. I like it. Me and Mech go in. You, Fennec, and Cyrus. Well, Fennec, you're pretty sneaky, aren't you, little fella?
When I want to be.
I'll let that be up to you. But I guess me and Mech will head in. And
Looking
what?
to the real quick, DM, looking to the
Yep.
western edge of the map.
Yep.
Does it look like there's anything along that way that would hinder my movement? I.e., difficult terrain?
No, not like difficult terrain. It's overgrown. There's some trees, a little bit of shrubbery there and here and there. Maybe like a couple little like fences for the grapes, but nothing that would seriously cause difficulty.
So I can move just fine and I have plenty of cover, is what I'm hearing.
Yep. I'm forgetting to put someone on the map. 1, 2, 3, 4. Matt, where are you?
Underneath Ceres.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait a minute, I lost somebody here.
Okay, and real quick, can I get a description of that man again one more time? Like, what did he look like? What was he?
From the distance that you're at, you notice that he's got on like some sort of black leather armor, and he had maybe a bald head at best, from what you could tell.
And was this a look of running of distress or running of urgency?
That would be probably a little bit out of your notice.
Okay, fair enough.
Because you're noticing him running over here, if you can see that ping.
Yep. Not in the building, out the building?
Yeah, you're noticing him like outside of the building and then going. You would have seen him going inside of it as you guys are kind of like jostling around and everything.
Okay. Well, this is definitely an ambush if I've never seen one before. Good, I like ambushes.
All right, we'll go talk to the guy. You guys see what you can find.
All right, Mike, we got this. I'm gonna put a fist bump.
Yeah.
I'm Mr. White. You're Mr. Black.
As I was gonna say, you want to do like good cop, bad cop?
Yeah.
All right.
You be good cop, I'll be bad cop. Or I be good cop, you be bad cop.
Nah, you should probably be the bad cop.
All right, so I'm Mr. Black. You're Mr. White. They
All
ask our names.
We just don't give them our names.
Well, I like the names. All right, let's go.
Okay. All right, we could use the names.
Maybe you could ask the cop we have with us how to go about this.
All right, so we're gonna go to the guy.
Cyrus is immediately going to duck to the western side and move through the cover.
Levin will follow.
I think we'll go to the east.
Don't stray too far from someone else. If things get dicey.
All right, I'll come with you.
Well, no, I'm not objecting you to going around the other way. Just be within shouting distance of at least one other person.
I think you should go east.
All right, east it is.
cover our grounds. West? Alright, Mac. I'm sorry, Mr. White. Let's go.
I assume the house right in front of us.
I'm bad cop, right?
Yes.
Alright.
You know what? Just go with your gut, because you're probably gonna forget.
No, bad cop it is. I just need to make sure.
Okay.
I'm committing.
Okay. Got this.
You got this.
All right. Should
So-
we knock or just kick the door in? What do you think?
Nah, knock. You're a good
Alright.
cop. If they don't open, then I kick the door in.
There you go. Commitment. Then I go and I knock on the door.
That's also not a door that you're standing next to, by the way.
That's a
The
chimney.
door's the other way. That's right.
Yeah.
Well,
I knock.
Doors
I knock on
doors over here.
I knock on the wall and I just go, shit. Sorry, first time. All right, door's on the other side. All right, okay.
so wait,
Let's try
I don't
again.
kick-
Try again.
Yeah, it's
so I
like
don't
the
think-
dirt paths lead to doors.
I
Wait,
did
so I
see it.
I don't kick the wall in.
No. Gonna knock on the door.
No kicking the wall in. Got it. Oh, the door's right here. Okay, sorry. All right, I'm standing behind you.
How loud are you knocking?
Loudly enough.
Are you saying anything
Yep.
also?
Not at the moment.
You don't
Just
hear
knock
anything
it.
if you knock. Your metal
All
in
right.
the door. There's no
Do a
answer.
couple. Do a little. Do kind of one of those knocks. Maybe they'll answer.
Like a secret knock? No, it's.
I don't know. I don't know. Do something.
Jeez. I knock again. Like, no, I know you're in there. We saw you run in. Listen, you're not in trouble. Just want to ask you some questions.
Different house. Mac. It was this one over here that he was running towards.
Shit.
North northeast.
Oh shit! All right, all right. I'm gonna look around. I guess
Shit,
I kick the door in.
Good thing we didn't raid him. All right, sorry, rogue address. Never mind.
So, Theris, before you finish your moving, give me a dex check.
Check.
I wanted to look in the window before we left. If there is any.
Dexterity dexterity check.
Check or save?
A check, please.
Okay,
So-
then yes.
I just wanted to make sure that I was getting. Sorry, I was playing something else the other day and wanted to just make sure I got the lingo right. So as you're going along, you're able to softly hit on a small wire, and as you step onto it, you notice that the wire sinks down and it seems to be attached to something off in the distance. Basically over to your right.
Jesus Christ!
Does it seem like it's going towards one of the house, or is it just
Looks like it's just over towards a bush or something over to the right of you.
Does it seem like I've tripped whatever this is supposed to activate?
Nothing's happened at the moment.
Okay. I'm going to very carefully adjust my weight to the balls of my feet, and then I am going to try and tuck and roll towards, semi towards where I think the string is coming from, or what it's attached to, on the right, kind of at an angle, so that I'm not directly in the path of whatever I suspect might be attached to this string. And hopefully, if I'm really lucky, I look stupid and nothing happens.
One can hope, right?
Yeah. So can I roll acrobatics?
I was just gonna ask for that. You read my mind.
Yay.
Aaron, if you're trying to say something, your thing is talking in the fast forward.
I was gonna say, yeah, his thing is talking. I was just about to message him privately.
Yeah, I just
His
caught
thing is
that.
squeaky.
Sorry to interrupt.
No worries. I thought I heard something like weird sounding.
It sounds familiar. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, what I thought it sounded like was the sound of Saris jumping off to the side, like she described, and then suddenly you hear a bolt go and thud over in a tree that was pointing in that, like, what do you call it, strings direction,
Mm-hmm.
and it
All right.
basically whizzes right over your shoulder.
Good.
We can hear it. So, Saris, you're safe for the moment.
I see Levin nearby.
How close were you following?
I was trying to maintain at least 10 to 15 feet away.
Okay, so then he probably saw what happened, and I have to tell him, look out for traps. Can I go towards where the bolt came from and inspect it?
Yep. And after giving like a brief, I'm guessing stealthy check around,
Mm-hmm.
you notice that there's a crossbow bolt, a crossbow, like attached and planted into the ground with a string tied around the what you call it, the
Trigger.
like little block of it, trigger of it. That's it.
Great. Well, in a fit of petty spite, I'm going to pull my dagger and cut the bowstring.
There we go.
No one's going to use this crossbow against me today.
Levin's going to take a look and see if this trap was rigged to be repeatable, or do they have to manually reset it?
It looks like they'd have to manually reset it. Because when you walk up behind Saris, you notice that the string has fallen flat onto the ground. And Saris, you notice that the bolt, there isn't like a replacement bolt inside of it.
All right. Well, I am going to continue moving sort of this way, but now keeping an eye out for traps of an assorted variety, because I assume they're not going to settle for just cheap crossbow traps.
Maybe.
Tripwires,
Yeah.
snares.
Why don't you two give me some sort of investigation or perception roll, and I'm going to pick up with the other crew over there, knocking on the doorway.
Cool.
Real fast. Mech and
Yeah,
Yami.
I'm just going to look for things that are out of place, not necessarily that they're traps.
Okay.
I want to find everything.
Yeah, give me the rolls, and I'll get back to you guys when we pick up over there.
Not a problem.
Nice.
So,
Fennec, you're inside of that house, correct, over there?
Well, he's kind of like sneaking around, but he would try to make his way in.
Yeah, I mean, the house is caved in, as you can see, so you can totally get into it.
Okay, so he's gonna like search around, see if there's any like campfires or like signs of people using this as like a shelter, or like just any signs of somebody.
No, at the moment there doesn't seem to be. Do you notice though in the bottom right corner of the house though, there seems to be some like very large webs. So I wouldn't walk over into that section as you just did. Unless you want to get stuck.
Like, when you say very large,
I mean, large, even compared to like the size of a regular person. We're talking
Large-
like
do
it goes
these
up to the top of where the ceiling used to hang, and kind of like you can see some structural beams too.
do these webs look fresh, newly spun, or like been here for a while?
They look ripped up a little bit, so I wouldn't say that they've been well maintained.
Okay. But they were made by a larger creature.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, I have two things he could do right now. Because he was told at any sign of trouble to yell. He's gonna press a little bit forward to like the next house, over to the next crumbled house. This one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's not gonna go in, but he's gonna like peer around that corner.
How careful are you being?
He's going slow. He's being subtle.
Okay. Give me a dex check.
Stealth?
No, dexterity.
Oh, dexterity. Okay. Ability check. Normal roll. Fuck you, Fennec. 11.
So as you're going over there, your foot catches onto a small wire in this area right along this little alley. And you hear a very faint ring sound. As you gaze around real quick, you notice that there's maybe about 3 other wires going across each of the corners in that alleyway. And there's bells and things, like small little bells attached to each of the wires.
Oh, this is good.
I it out.
How am I what?
Or how are you going to move from there?
He's gonna stop for a moment and just listen to see if he hears any movement, anything that the bell might have like triggered or drawn, any kind of reaction, essentially.
Give me a quick perception check really quick. And
19.
You don't hear anything other than the sound of the thudding on the door coming from Yami and Matt.
Okay. So in that case, he would then press forward towards this door of this ruined building and like kind of peer in, but not enter right away.
So as you're going over those, give me a dexterity skill to get through the wires.
$13.
Okay. You can use it straight up. You're able to get through the wires safely. And as you look around the corner, the scene cuts back over to Mech and Yami.
Then I start to
You guys have been banging on the door for a couple minutes. And what do you do there?
I
Is
want
this
to peek
even-
in a window.
Is this even the right house?
Well, let's find out. Let me peek in a window.
It's dark.
Is it like the
really
window
dark.
dusty? I'm gonna be like, anybody in here? Well, I think I have dark vision. Do I see anything with my dark vision? Like, what does the inside look like?
Through the dirty glass and everything, not so much. You can make out maybe like a few furniture-esque looking things, but it's kind of tough. This stuff looks like hasn't been taken care of in a long time.
Okay, so it looks like it's just it's sitting kind of all right. I think this isn't the house. Let's just go to where we seen the guy go. Hopefully the others are all right.
Did we hear the bells?
Yep.
Mm,
He wearing this one, you said, correct?
Correct.
Okay. All right, come on, Mike. We're gonna scurry on to the door.
And as you two pause Yami for me as you get through the courtyard.
So I'll stop right here.
Oh yeah, somewhere right around this zone right here.
All right, we'll stop right here.
As that happens, quite a couple things are going to trigger all in one cycle. Saris and Levin, you're going to suddenly see this doorway open.
Which doorway?
As you guys were moving forward and everything, like through the area, and as you kind of would get over to this area or even over here, you would notice a doorway open over in the building to the top left.
Yeah. I'm just yes.
And you'd see two people pop out real quick. And you notice that they pull up and draw some arrows into their bow. Fennec, as you look around the corner, you notice that there seems to be two guys inside of the building. Or at least, I should say, yeah, there's two guys right about there. And you can notice that they seem to have their swords at the ready.
Okay.
And let's go into combat real fast.
Wait, did they see me?
They were looking at you.
I think we triggered the.
Am I able to do something before combat starts?
Let me say it like this. It depends on what, because the reason why we're going to probably go for a roll is because they are acting upon seeing the other two guys walking forward and triggering. And imagine that you went through the traps and everything, and then you're looking around the corner. And so depending on the action order, you may or may not have an opportunity to do something unless it's a slight action.
Oh, okay.
And Levin and Cedric, you would get like the same kind of move. It's how we'd be going to it. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, then we'll take your approach. That's fine.
All right. Oh, geez, I have to click everybody for combat, don't
I? You can drag select all available tokens, or shift click on each individual one.
Oh, God damn it.
and then
That's
you
not
can
too bad.
right-click on any token after you've selected every one of them and toggle their combat state.
Oh no, I totally whiffed off. What just happened? Sorry, Fennec, I just whizzed you across the map.
Fennec just flew away.
That breeze that old man was talking about.
You
Yeah,
should be able to
that-
Control Z to undo the movement.
that wind just blew you away, man.
Well, if my suit and stuff came in, I could get rid of these sail robes. As long as I had my top hat.
Your top hat.
Dapper Don top hat.
Well, you knew where you were.
Matt,
Yeah.
what is your name stand for? I'm sorry, Mac, what does your name stand for again?
Oh, mechanical, eco-friendly combat helper.
Eco-friendly.
Friendly.
Eco-friendly is what got me. That's right.
Eco-friendly, yeah.
Wait,
I don't give off any fumes. I'm not harmful to the environment.
That's comforting.
I
just
100% process everything I ingest.
You're just harmful to everything else.
Pretty much.
Can't get Fennec on the map.
Oh shoot,
Oh man.
Fennec, where'd you go?
I'm there.
So I'm gonna run to the bathroom real quick before this gets to progress. I'm sorry. I do apologize.
Did you want initiative from everybody, by the way? Or just Fennec?
Everyone.
Ah.
Yeah, if it's to the tune of like tracking turns, it should be everyone that's present.
Yep. The idea here is that you're seeing all this stuff happening, and for instance, Fennec, I don't think that. Yeah, you notice that one of the bandits is like gearing up, for instance, to jump out the door.
Okay.
Because there's only one bandit that's going in front of you, and that's how the situation is presenting itself.
Okay.
But I believe we're starting off with Saris. Let me just... Cool. There we go. All right, Saris, you are up.
Yeah, okay. These two have bows?
Yep.
Okay. I am going to use an action to actually invoke duplicity. What's the range on that? And I think what I want to do is kind of plop my duplicate right. Wow, I zoomed in really fast. Yeah, I'm gonna plop my duplicate right here, the edge of like my little vision.
Mm-hmm.
How would I put another token of me there?
That is a very good question. Could we just put a physical token of you there? All right, you know what? I'll just put a guy there for you. just to make things simple. Wait. Hey, look at that.
I can see through it, but that's fine.
Can you move it? Whatever. That'll just pretend you don't.
Yeah. Well, for now, it just appears there. Saris herself is going to move. Okay. Then 10 more feet over this way. And the illusionary Saris is going to. I lost sight of her. She's basically going to, like, sort of look like she suddenly comes out of invisibility surprised and draw a dagger.
Okay.
And that will be my turn for now.
All right. Fennec, you notice that one of the bandits goes, "All right, boys. As soon as they fire, we rush in. Ready yourselves, all right? Those fools won't know what's coming at them." And Levin, you didn't hear any of that.
No, that's fine.
No, I'm just joking.
No, it's the guys over on the southeastern end that did that. They're too far away for me to hear that.
I know, I'm just teasing you. But you're
Levin is going to take the hide action.
okay.
And he will relocate. Let's see how my movement goes for this. It's 15, 20, 25, 30. And since I'm taking the hide action, do you need a stealth check from me?
Yeah. Just because you're moving through one of their range of sights, even though.
Ugh. All right.
Right?
9, so if they're actively looking for me, they'll probably see me.
We'll see.
But with that,
I think you got lucky. I think he's too busy looking at the person drawing a dagger at him.
with that, I will end my turn.
All right, Fennec. Looks like you get to do your move.
Okay. I'm reading on the for the darkness spell. Can I cast it on armor, like the object, the armor?
Darkness on armor.
Read the second paragraph of the spell. If the point you choose is an object you are holding or one that isn't being worn or carried.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
You can still cast it right on top of them.
Yeah. You can still cast it on top. Just.
Oh, if it's moving, it has to be something I'm holding.
Mm-hmm.
Or one that isn't being worn or carried. So, like, you can cast it on a stone on the ground.
Right. And then you could funnel for it and throw it.
Yeah. All right. He's gonna do that. He's going to cast darkness on like something that's in the middle of all of them.
Okay. There's like a messed up crate there.
Yeah, it's a 15-foot radius.
Okay.
I don't know how to go about doing. I'm gonna let the DM do the drawing. But he is going to be casting darkness with Eyes of the Dark, spending 2 sorcery points,
Mhm.
and that allows him to see in the darkness.
Through magical darkness.
Yep. So Eyes of
Okay.
Darkness. You have dark vision out. You learn the darkness spell and can cast it with a spell slot or by spending 2 sorcery points. You can see through the darkness created by the spell if cast with sorcery points.
Okay, cool. Because I was gonna say, yeah, dark vision doesn't help you. So.
Yep. Nope. So he's casting it with 2 sorcery points, so he is now able to see in this magical darkness.
Cool.
And so he'll cast it and then run in behind them.
All right.
But he's not going to go direct. So 15. Yeah, he's not going to go directly on them yet, but he is going to be in the radius of the darkness, but like a few feet back.
All right. So you're basically like right next to that overgrown tree, by the way, while you're in there.
Yes.
Cool.
Just waiting for the next round, but they are now covered in magical darkness.
All right. Mac?
Okay. Well, I'm going by the map. Do I see anything that's generally around? Or do I know what's triggering all of this?
At the moment, no. You haven't heard anything that is going on, so you're kind of in a weird predicament.
Okay. Besides the bells. All right.
Yeah, you heard the bells a moment ago, but otherwise... What's your passive perception?
10.
10. You could say that if you're looking down the roads, one of the like up the road there, you would have noticed people busting out of the door with bows. Because you can see up here. Now these guys though are intentionally hiding though in the bottom right, and you would suddenly, so that's a weird situation, actually, on its own. And now they're filled all of a sudden in a large thing of darkness.
Okay. I don't even notice the people. I don't even see anybody down there. All right.
It would actually even look like darker in that room than it looked like a moment ago if you were just glancing around, it seems like.
All right. How far are the other 2 people that came out with crossbows?
They're, however far that is.
That is, okay.
You can measure it also. They're 60 feet.
Gotcha.
60 feet. Sorry.
All right. No problem. That is far. All right. So I'm gonna say to Yami, be like, all right, they look hostile, and I'm gonna.
Guess it's time for bad cop.
I'm only gonna walk up like 20 feet. Actually, scratch that. I'll do my full movement. I'll move up 30. And I'm gonna take the dodge action. And that'll end my turn.
All right. So we're going to one of the blinded bandits. He yells out in a confused, like, what the? happened? Who the? Oh my! Blind! What the heck? Oh my God! And he's like, Jim, are you there? Fred! I can't see you! And you hear a couple panicked yells out. What the? Whoa, what's going on here? There you go. And he kind of clumsily wanders out.
Sorry, I was just putting the template down to showcase 15-foot radial.
No, good. Appreciate it.
Cool.
He says, "What? Sure. What the heck did he do?" And then he starts making a move in that direction. The next guy, Frank, and he hits a wall. And what the heck? Why? Oh, controlling the wrong dude again. You notice that you hear Fennec a thud on the wall. What the heck? And then, Fred, where are you? Oh, Fred, there you are. All right, come on. I think we need to make a move somewhere.
I just realized I should have put Fennec within 5 feet of somebody.
And Yami, it is your turn.
Alrighty. That being said, so I'm assuming I would have heard and seen all the commotion. Well, I would have seen heard these guys coming out.
You would have seen if Mech would have said what he said, and then you would have heard these two guys yelling for each other, and then you would easily see them stumbling out.
All right,
but
so
you do notice that there seems to be a blackness behind them.
Yep. So assuming that I knew Fennec went to the east and the other two went to the west, I'm like, all right, that must be Fennec. The other two must be on that side, doing whatever they're doing. Beck, you go take that side. I'll go help Fennec out. And as I'm rushing this way, I'm gonna mutter to myself, "Time for bad cop." 30. Yes. So I'm gonna go there. That's not moving off. That's why I probably hold on. Sorry about that. And what I'm going to do is I have my greatsword drawn already. I am going to 1 second. I apologize. I'm just reading through some tangs real quick. Okay, I can't do none of that yet. All right, so I'm gonna use my greatsword and I'm gonna take a good attack against him.
You can draw.
And hopefully that does something. Will an 11 hit?
You swing your sword at it at the delirious guy, and as it comes down, you notice that he managed to just briefly step out of the way of the attack. And he says, who are you?
And with that, I want to use one of my War Priest feet, burn one of those, and use my bonus action to take another attack.
Okay.
I'm like, you'll find out soon enough. Stay still.
No, I don't think I will. And that hit does go through.
And that'd be 9 slashing.
And you put a massive gash across his chest.
And that'll be my movement, my action, my bonus action and stuff. 5 feet of movement, but I'll stay right here, and that'll be my turn.
All right. So, Saris, your illusion. Tell me one thing about it. Does it have an AC or anything like that?
It does not. It is simply referred to as a perfect illusion.
Okay. So, for instance, if an arrow goes through it, would it look like an arrow goes through it, or does it make any sort of contact with something?
I believe that it simply goes through. It depends on what you consider a perfect illusion, because there are some high-level illusory spells that have solid tactile sense.
They have at least an AC, I think.
Yeah, and so
Depends on the
that's what I'm
spell.
trying to get. That's what I'm just trying to get a gist of for your casting that you did. And I'm guessing this is more of a lower tier then.
Yes, but it's. I don't know how else to explain it other than it's
A
fully.
perfect illusion.
It is a perfect illusion that gives no sense of the fact that it's an illusion, basically. So, inspecting it, just I imagine if the bolt goes through them, they might be confused at first or expect something else. I don't know.
Yep. I'm gonna have fun with this a little bit and say that he's gonna loose his bow at you. The
I mean, it
bolt
can.
goes into the illusion. I like the idea that it's a perfect illusion, but your illusion doesn't actually respond to anything. And so it looks like that your illusion got like shot. But then nothing happens to it.
It kind of has a slight autonomy to itself. It doesn't necessarily sprint and duck around, but it will blink, and it has like a sense of motion to enhance its believability.
Right.
In place, but yeah.
Would it know how to like respond to an arrow hitting it?
It might, but there wouldn't the arrow will still go through it. So even if it responds to a wound, there won't be.
One of the issues with Invoke Duplicity is that it is very poorly written, so it is almost exclusively DM Fiat.
Yeah. For now, we're going to say that the arrow just hits it in the almost Jason Voorhees. It just it just keeps going at him.
Your illusion just no-souled an arrow.
That's believable. Yeah, I mean that's likely.
For now, tonight, that's what we're gonna say happens to him. We'll figure out another recourse for it on a separate time. You could give us a different description on another time if you want to think about that till the next session. Have some fun with it. Make up how that goes and everything. I don't really mind, and we'll see what Anthony thinks too. The other guy, though, he's gonna see mech, and he's gonna kind of keep his vision trained on that. Select target. And he's
are you attacking me?
Yes,
At
we are.
At disadvantage.
At disadvantage.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how's that 16 look? It looks like a hit from what the game tells me.
Nope.
No.
Armor 19.
Armor 19?
Yep.
Hot dang. Okay. Well, you notice that the bolt comes up and you're able to pull your shoulder pauldron and it just pounces right off. You almost just shrug it off like a hockey goalie.
Try harder than that.
Watching too much of the NHL playoffs right now. Saris, you're up again.
Excellent. I want. Oh, no. I think if I step here. Cool. So Saris will take her crossbow, even as her duplicate is going to pull out a crossbow. And I am going to fire my crossbow through my illusion into this person, so that when my illusion fires the crossbow, it'll be like they're getting shot at from the illusion.
Oh God. Okay, that'll be really cool if you could nail this.
Yeah, it does sound really cool.
I like it though. Please do.
All right. Come on, roll. Why are you being like this? There we go. Aw. I don't imagine a 13 hits.
A bandit.
It actually does.
Oh?
It doesn't look as cool as you thought it would. You know, like it comes out of her, like, you know, chest, the arrow, but it does come out of her and it hits the bandit.
Cool. Minimum damage. And then, hopefully, I will sort of duck out of sight.
Okay.
My turn.
Right.
Actually, wait.
Go ahead. What were you
Uh,
thinking?
I was going to have the duplicate fall back to here.
Okay.
Wait. Wow. Okay. I lose vision depending on which token I click. So I think what I'll do is move the duplicate over here so I can see it and still click mine. Get out of the way. There we go.
All right. Making a note. Figure out duplicate stuff.
Now done.
All right. Oh my God! Yeah, there's 2 Fenix still in the thing.
If you double click on the one inside of the combat turn order, you'll get to the one that.
Oh no! I was looking at a different thing for Fennec. I was like, oh, God, there's one of him off map too. Still.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So the one guy is still blind. He's gonna go. Well, dang it! Moving the wrong. Come on, man! I selected you. Get over here. He's gonna wander about, and you hear a similar like crash and a thud into a wall, Fennec.
Mm-hmm.
And you can notice that he's having a really tough time getting out of the darkness over there.
Okay.
As he's calling for his buddies, and he says, "I know you're somewhere there." 11.
Alright. 11 will move up just a little bit, and he's going to take the ready action. And he's going to wait for, because, like, he can barely see that Mech was traveling along there.
Yeah.
He's going to wait for one of these 2 bandits to make any aggressive moves towards him, and he'll fire at the one that attempts.
That already did happen, by the way.
Oh, I'm aware.
Okay.
But
Okay,
I was in a position where I might not have necessarily seen it. I am now up against
Gotcha.
an opening.
Cool. Sounds good. Just double checking.
Because when I was back over here, I literally only saw, at best,
I
something
gotcha.
flying across,
Yeah.
and not who did it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Just double checking that, you know.
But that'll be my turn. So,
Okay.
ready, attack, and the trigger is if either of them make an aggressive move towards Mac.
Go. I like it. But you can be sure one of them will. All right, Fennec. Looks like you're up.
Okay. As the guy in the bandit wanders around aimlessly, Fennec's gonna move in a little bit. Actually, he's not gonna move. Well, actually, he'll move a little bit just to get a better angle. But within the darkness, he's gonna call out, "Do you believe in the boogeyman?" And then he's gonna launch a chill touch on him.
Okay.
Chill touch. Would the attack have advantage? Since I can see in the darkness, and he cannot.
I think that only goes in for melee and at like next to them melee attacks.
Heavily obscured is treated as blinded.
Yeah.
No. Like the target can't see the attack coming.
Right.
Your call.
So they automatically fail any checks that require sight. Attacks against them have advantage, and attack rolls from them have disadvantage. If we're to review the blinded condition.
Yeah, and it's a spell attack, so go for it. You can have advantage.
Right.
Why not? Let's see how it goes.
Fennec, on the return on that, you might be heavily obscured, but you are not hidden.
Yeah.
So
25.
they have an idea of where you are.
Yeah,
Well, that's why he's moving about.
Yeah.
25 to hit.
25 hits. Disadvantage in the next attack roll, it looks like, too. Ooh, cool.
It's 1 damage, but hold on.
Please tell me he's going to Fury of the Small.
No, he's going to use Empowered Spell and burn another sorcery point. I can reroll up to 4 damage dice. But I have to use the new rolls. So he can reroll the 1 damage.
Yeah.
4. And since Aaron said it, he's also going to add Fury of the Small. So it's an additional 2. So it'll be a total of 6 damage.
Okay. Cool.
So now he has 0 sorcery points. His Fury of the Small is gone.
I felt something cold touch me.
And like where you said like he's not hidden.
Yeah.
He's going to move up over here to kind of keep moving so that they can't pinpoint him. So he's still in the darkness though.
Gotcha.
And that will be the end of his turn.
Cool. Mac, you're up.
Okay. And just like how the map is, you said before, like everything is all run down and they...
Yeah. Overgrown completely.
Yeah.
Like, there's some, as you noticed, there's some houses that are kind of still and upright without caved in roof.
Gotcha. So I'm gonna come up. Doesn't want to move now. I can make it 30 feet. Where am I going? Oh.
Whoa. You go go running forward. Bolt over the fence.
Just run right through it.
Oh, right through it.
It's
Okay.
probably raggedy. Probably raggedy. Don't even
Yeah.
try. Something doesn't feel right, and I'm gonna yell that out loud, and I'm gonna item interaction, take out my hammer, and I'm gonna non-lethal hit the one in front of me.
Cool. The one that shot you, correct?
Cool. The one directly in front of me. Whether or not he shot me, I don't care.
Right on. Okay.
Let's see. 11.
You just miss.
Ah.
He goes swinging, but he managed to back steps out of the way.
I'm trying not to hurt him.
Yep. Trying too gently.
All right, that's yeah, that's it. That's all I'm gonna do.
All right. Noticing his friend getting hurt, Bob the bandit goes running over to help him. His friend. He looks over at Yami and says, "Get away from him!" And yes, he says it as terrible as I just did there. All right. How does the 20 look?
That'll hit any one of us.
Yeah.
I thought so.
Even me.
Where's the damage? Oh, whatever. 1d6 plus 1. I'll just roll it. I don't know why I didn't roll damage. Alright, so 3 damage coming at you, Yami. I think you're on mute, bud.
Wow. Thank you for letting me know that. I was talking this whole time. All right. I was going to say, yeah, well, I'm pretty good because Cyrus gave me that little booster. So I'm all right. All right. I can take that. Thank you.
All right. The other guy goes swinging at you as well. Fighting 2 guys, man. Good luck.
Got full confidence in those other 2 guys.
My kind of fight. I think
Winging his scimitar.
that'll hit.
Right. Oh, there's the damage. What the heck, man? All right, for a 4.
Ready.
You get 2 little cuts going across you. Nothing too serious, though, for the mighty Yami. All right, what you do?
All right, it's on me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, they call me Mr. Black, and I'm just gonna swing at the guy in front of me.
Which one?
The one directly in front of me.
hit?
The one that I already hit first.
Okay.
Let's see.
Just checking.
Oof. It's terrible. I'm using my feature for the last time. I'll use it twice per long rest, so I'm using my bonus action to swipe at the guy next to him.
Okay. Yeah, because your first one, you miss again.
Yeah.
Time, so let's see what this one does. Whoa! Whoa! Whoa!
I'm like, where'd you come from? You want some of this? You want some of
Describe
Mr. Black? And I'm gonna swipe his chest.
How do you kill that guy? My goodness.
Is he still standing?
No, he's dead.
All right. So as I swing for this one, I'm like, oh, where'd you come from? You want some of Mr. Black? Ah, just hack his chest off. Like I'm looking at his phone, like, and yeah, for that'll be my turn. My action, bonus action. I'm not moving.
Jeez. Okay. Cool.
Told you I like
Man,
these odds. These odds are better for you than me. Well,
you were
that was what I'm saying to the guy.
you were close as heck to doing two in at once. What the heck?
But yeah, that'll be my turn. I use my War Priest feat twice, and I can't use it until another long rest. So yeah, no more second swipes for now.
So this guy's not going to want to drop his. He's going to see Mech come running up on them. He is going to shoot at disadvantage, seeing that he's right next to you. Because he's not going to bother with trying to drop anything and do any fancy pants stuff. Nor does he want to provoke an attack. And I'm guessing the 11 misses since that other one missed earlier as well.
Yep. Rookie numbers.
Fires at you.
That would trigger my reaction once it's concluded.
You are correct.
Get him, 11.
Question: was I effectively hidden from this individual that I'm targeting?
Yeah. I'd say that none of them actually noticed you at all.
All right. Oh, that was rolled with disadvantage. Freaking error on my part.
No worries.
13 plus 8, 21.
Ooh, okay. That hits. Badly misses. Wow, found
Yeah,
it.
that
Just
was a
put people
misclick on my part. So,
Oh.
11 pierce?
You do them. Yeah, because you're hitting the guy that just attacked this guy.
Correct.
So, describe the kill.
Literally, just he pulled it up, he fired, and from the stone wall nearby, Mech, you see a bolt just shoot across this guy's neck.
Damn.
I don't want you to kill them all.
There's still one.
I did say all.
You didn't tell nothing to me.
Then you hear the other guy go, holy,
Just watch his friend just
so
drop.
something. And he takes the disengage. All right. And you notice that Mech, he manages to scramble away and runs away into the house. And then as a kind of like lull hits and Yami, you like cut down the one guy. Fennec, you're standing in the darkness, and Saris, you're over behind the houses. You hear a booming voice come out and say, "You dare to come to my domain." And with that, we'll end tonight's session. And we'll see you all again next week. Remember to go over to Dice Legion, use the promo code POTF. PTF. Players of
the
PR.
realms.
Oh, no, I messed it up. Players of the realm. POTR. And you get that promo and you get that discount on the dice at dicelegion.com. And we'll see you all again next time.
Whoop, whoop.
Bye.
Night.
Everyone.
Ready, ready.